Welcome to the Smooth Money Game podcast with my main man, Jared Smith, and me, John Dollar Bill. What's up today, man?
Today, we got to get into some new hot topics that I know y'all going to love. And first to start off is Joe Biden gets Brittney Griner back from Russia. Do you think it was a good deal to trade a known arms dealer for Brittney Griner?
No comment. You want to know my real opinion?
Yeah.
That's like trading Michael Jordan for a D-leaguer. No, I'm just kidding. Now, Brittney Griner, if she was my daughter, I would want her to come back at all expense, so I won't comment on that. If it was my daughter, regardless, I would want her to be back. So, you can never equate if it's not your kid, was it worth it? So I don't disagree with that because in the haste of the moment, if it was my kid, I would want him to do everything he could do. What do you think about that?
I think it was actually a good trade. I think Brittney Griner is very important, I think, for the culture and just I think obviously for votes, they probably did it because they could have probably done it sooner, but they wanted to get a certain amount of votes to, appeal to the right crowd to get re-voted in. And I think that's really, why they actually did it, even though I just felt they should have did it anyway, or send a SEAL team in there to get her, because it was really, a minor infraction, and they definitely sentenced her a lot longer than anyone normal based off the fact that, she was a celebrity over here, and probably because she stood for things that they probably don't accept in their country or whatnot. But in my opinion, there's probably a million other arms dealers, in Russia. So not a million, but whatever. There's plenty of them, and it's like he's gonna have to try to get back into the arms game after being out for how long, I don't know. So maybe he goes back to being what he was, or maybe we catch him again. You never know. But it's not like we take one arms dealer off and then a next one just doesn't come right after them anyway. So I don't know. But there's only one Brittney Griner. So
there's one thing I will say. There is hope for El Chapo getting out, though. Yeah.
On to the next.
I just say that, I'm not mad at it because any politician or anybody else would do the same thing. And like they said, if it had been LeBron or if it had been somebody else who, they would have been home. So it was the right thing to do anyway. Right. I'll be ducking when I go places now. Hoping I don't get blown up by the same guy. But it's all good. It was the right thing to do. All right, let's check out this. What do you think about what Damian Lillard said? Explain it, and I'll give you my opinion on it.
Man, what? Damian Lillard said that he should be considered the second best shooter of all time, right after Steph Curry. What do you think?
Powered by Riverside.
I'll be back in a second. I'm going to get my Modelo's. Damian's on the map right now. Damian, his athleticism. Well, I know we're talking about shooting, but overall, he is a great shooter. I think the guy upped his game in every way. I think he's a top 5 to 10 player. his market just doesn't bring about the attention that he deserves. So, in saying that, nobody can see or really know unless you're really researching him how good he really is. He could possibly be the second best shooter behind Stephen Curry, or right up there with him. He's that good. So I agree with what he said. He puts up. What do you think?
Man, what? I think I think that he's a really great shooter. He's a really great player. I think overall, personally, I think Damian Lillard is a better player than Steph Curry. If you're going one-on-one, if they had the same team, I think Damian Lillard's better. But one thing I do got to say, though, is that second best shooter on the planet, I'd have to say no, because there's one guy named Klay Thompson, and that dude is clutch, and he knocks things down. And I think that's really the difference between the Golden State Warriors winning championships and not winning championships, is that guy Klay Thompson, who's the ice cold killer from three, and I personally witnessed him doing it in college in Hawaii when he was at Washington State. So there, I have to say that he's not the second best, but he's probably top five. Klay Thompson, second best of all time.
Moving forward, what do you think about Jalen Hurts getting hurt in the third quarter of his last football game?
It sucks. It sucks that he got hurt. I think his team would struggle if he has to be out for a lot of time, but I think he will actually be, it's not like a minor injury. So all those Dallas Cowboys fans getting excited for no reason, y'all can just put it away because y'all don't have a chance to win no Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles are a better team. Y'all are going to lose. The Cowboys are going to lose in the first round again, and Jalen Hurts is going to dog them the next time they play. That's it.
Funny man. You're a funny man.
Jalen Hurts going to rip the star off the Cowboys helmet. That's it.
I think that, he's having an MVP season. I really think that it will affect the Eagles standing. And earlier we were having a conversation about my boys. I think the boys have a better chance of going. They'll meet Mahomes and they won't be able to get past Magic City Mahomes.
You talking about regular season, man?
I said Magic Mahomes.
You talking about regular season, right? You mean in like week 14 of the regular season? Or week 15? You're not talking about the Super Bowl. You talking
That's
about
my prediction.
Lay off the stuff, man. All right, moving on. Top five mock draft for the NFL has come out by Walter Football, some person who blogs about NFL drafts. Do you agree with this top five?
Janitor.
At number one, he has Bryce Young. What do you think about that?
Hey, another black quarterback entering the league can't be a bad thing. Man, these quarterbacks are doing it, man. They are really doing it. They're putting it on the line. He had a great season, and I think that's good. I think that's really good. It can change in the next 5 years a lot of things for Houston. I really think it can. So I'm with it.
Next up, you got Jalen Carter going to the Seattle Seahawks.
Well, the Seahawks can use they used to be the Temple of Dooms, and now they have crumbled, you know. So what do you think?
I think the guy is the dominant inside force that could do a lot of damage for the Seahawks and bring their defense back to prominence.
Right. And then go ahead.
Number 3, they got Will Anderson, defensive end, Alabama.
I think that's a good decision because the Bears gave away their defense the last couple of years, so they might as well come get it back. Maybe it'll keep their quarterbacks from staying on the field, and he was looking good before he got hurt, and now that's what happens, man.
And number 4, you got C.J. Stroud, Ohio State, going to the Lions. What do you think?
I think that's, again, I think that's a good move. I agree with this guy. I mean, I think he has it on point with that, man. What do you think?
I think Walter Football is a good, source for mock drafts, but I don't know. Quarterbacks this high kind of never really pan out. Not all the time. I mean, in this draft, I just don't really see that franchise quarterback and wanted to pick that high. I think you can get some of these guys in the 10 to 15 range, which is going to end up happening. I think, obviously, Bryce Young probably goes top 5, but I don't think he goes number 1 because there's a lot of defensive stars in this draft. And I think the guy from Georgia is probably going to go number 1.
Right. Well, I think that you have a different breed of quarterback now, and it used to be in the past where a lot of coaches did not want to highlight them. I think if you get a coach like Andy Reid or somebody who really cares about the longevity of the quarterback, a lot of these quarterbacks can come in and be effective by year 3. I like what some of these coaches are doing by finally investing in their line to keep these quarterbacks safe, and through drafts and through free agency, getting defensive players, 1 or 2 that are high caliber players or high performance players. But you got to protect your quarterbacks, and a lot of these teams don't do it, and that's why they're garbage. You get a person who wants to get a nice defense and no offense, and next thing you know, they lose the quarterback and they don't have no chance. What do you think about that?
I think to have a great team, you need to invest in your O-line, but you also need to get some receivers, and a lot of times you can make a lot of these quarterbacks look better than they really are if you actually fill the team out like you're supposed to. Like, some of these quarterbacks have a lot of talent, but they don't have, personally, they have a lot of talent. Like, they can throw accurately, they can run, they can, avoid the pass rush, do all that, but they don't have the receivers sometimes, or they don't have the line the other times. It's like, it's hard to win when you're always trying to avoid getting sacked every play, where it's like even a quick play turns into a disaster. But we've seen guys like Cam Newton never get those kind of players around him. We've seen guys like Michael Vick never really get their players around them. But now it seems like, with Jalen Hurts, the Eagles are serious about winning, championships and building championships around them. And we see, like, the Cowboys surround Dak with some good talent that not everybody else gets. But yeah, you got to definitely. I think you need to set the team up before you try to bank it all on a quarterback before they even have the pieces around them to win.
And I think, this is another thing about Dion that will start to resonate. They will start looking for these players that I think the scouts need to go look for these Division II schools because there's a lot of talent there that never gets drafted. And I think they need to spend more time in some of these Division II schools, getting them speedsters that can go across the middle or catch and do some of those things that would prevent them from having to go first round for a talent when the Division II schools have just as talented players, especially at receiver. What do you think about that?
I don't know about Division II, but Division 1AA, most likely. Division 2, there's a little bit more of a drop off sometimes, but I mean, I think you can still find talent. You can definitely find hidden talent. You normally can find receivers a lot faster than anything, so I'm not going to disagree there. But sometimes you can find a D2 player who was really a D1 player who had issues in college and had to move around. But to me, it's like you want to invest in the offensive line, but the offensive line is useless if you don't have good receivers because there's a lot of fast people who can't catch or run a route. And to get that mix, sometimes, some people can't find it at all. And some people find it all the time. Like some teams always have elite receivers.
Well, this is what I think about that. If you get somebody, you can pretty much teach somebody to catch, pretty much. If you got a fast receiver that can run decent routes, you have a good chance of working with them. Or if they killed it in 1A, or they killed it in Division II as a receiver, it's a possibility that if they're a good route runner, and those guys are there, those guys, it's just that the scouts are scared of losing their jobs. So maybe they're not looking at those schools that aren't on the radar. But I'd be hitting up some serious schools trying to find that talent to save that money. You said you pay a guy $250,000 to $500,000 versus paying him a couple of million or $1.5 million. You can get some other offensive line talent to make sure that guy can blow up. That's my thoughts on it.
That's a strategy.
Right. So
it's not a strategy, Financially, that's smart.
Yeah, I mean, that the thing is now, I don't know if I would go for that Division II lineman. low 5'9" running friend of mine. But I would sure go for receivers, running backs that, have speed, maybe a little smaller because you can turn them into an H-back. There's a lot of things you can do with that. But definitely I would go for some positions. I wouldn't go for that slow DB, though. That think he's on Revis Island and finds out he's in shark waters. That's kind of funny. A guy who runs 4'9" and a defensive back in Division II, and he's a star. He will not be a star in the NFL. Yeah.
That puts you at corner in high school.
Huh?
That's it. I don't think they're not going to put you at cornerback if you run a 4.9 in high school.
I know.
But
That's
yeah,
what I'm saying. Yeah. Or if you run a 4.6 in college, they're not going to put you there a lot of times. They'll put you at linebacker, but they won't put you out there on that island. Yeah.
So right now, do you think the Cowboys are going to be playing in the Super Bowl?
I think the Cowboys will go pretty far in the playoffs, depending on who they get. I'm going to stay tuned. When I find out, I will tell you my prediction of who's going to win the Super Bowl. I already told you Mahomes is going to win it. I get blind when you talk about that because I got Mahomes and Kelsey doing it. But, who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl? And don't say the Miami Dolphins.
So who do you think is going to be playing in the Super Bowl? And you said the Cowboys will make it pretty far, but a few minutes ago they're going to be in the Super Bowl. So you keep losing confidence in your team.
I said, depending on who they play, they could make the Super Bowl. Now, if the Super Bowl travels through Kansas City, they won't make the Super Bowl. I'm being honest. Kansas City is my favorite team.
Same division, man.
Okay, then it'll be. All right, I'll say it right now. The Cowboys and Kansas City will be in the Super Bowl.
Oh, man. They're reaching, man.
Now, when you see that, I want you to do like that, man. I want you to do like that. How did you know? I'm like a man from Mars.
0% chance. Zero. The Cowboys are going to.
You saying the Commanders have a better chance than the Cowboys of making the Super Bowl?
We have the same chance, 0.
Man. I'm being honest about your Commanders because they don't have a chance to make it.
The Cowboys aren't going to the Super Bowl this year. It's not going to happen. Like, everybody knows this. Even the real Cowboys fans know this.
Nah, they don't. They really don't. I'm telling you.
They know.
Nah, they don't. They don't. That's right. You know why? Because we be doing it when we want to. There you heard it from the Smooth Money Gang. Doing it up. What do you think, man?
Last thing. Last thing. The NBA rookie class this year has been killing it. Paolo Banchero, 23 points a game. And then you got Ben Mathurin almost averaging 20 points a game off the bench, and Jaden Ivey averaging 15 a game. And then you have a couple other players averaging 12 or more. Is this one of the best rookie draft class since 2003?
It's the most, if not one of the most athletic class and class of players that were raised in AAU, taught the mechanics of playing basketball, man. They were not only taught the mechanics of playing basketball, they were physically and mentally put together to play the game from day one. I mean, it's just like, you remember when the United States were always winning in gymnastics? They started out real early. Well, this is what basketball has turned into. They're starting the players off real early, and they're able to adjust to the game a lot quicker than people used to. So you're getting star-class athletes who are very athletic and smart and able to handle the ball. You have Manute Bol's son, 7'7", dribbling better than Kevin Durant, going the length of the court and serving people, man. That's pretty darn good. Bobo or Bubble. Not this kid. But, dude got a jumper too, man. So I'm very pleased with the crop that's coming out now. I'm very pleased. What about you, man?
I think it has a chance. These guys are young in their career. The people who are averaging 12 and 15, I've seen a lot of times end up being 20-point per game scores. Paulo Banchero looks like he's going to be an MVP candidate at one point. And Ben Mathurin, who's really been the surprise of the draft as far as being the sixth pick and then coming out so strong. At the draft, he said, he doesn't think LeBron James is better than him. And then he went out and outplayed him the game they played. The guy has a chance to be a star. They have enough star power in this draft to eventually be compared to that. But barring injuries and long careers, you never can predict a draft class being as good as that. It's difficult.
You heard it from the Smooth Money Gang. We're out of here. It was fun. We showed up. We did it. We did it again. And you know what the crowd said when we got done doing it? These guys are funny. Not that way. All right. I'll check it later, man. Peace.
Smooth Money Gang.
Yes.